So the Homeward Journey mod is finally back on the Steam Workshop. This video will showcase the huge content update that adds 4 new post-Moonlord bosses, including one where you're battling a literal god. Let's go in progression order of what's new in this update. First, we have the Ordeals. These are a set of bullet hells which vary depending on which biome you summon the boss. In order to do this, you'll need to use the Karma Plug, an item which acts like a locator that beeps more rapidly the closer you are to the focus point. Attacking a focal point with the Karma Plug will begin the boss fight. The only objective is to survive the insane bullet hells and projectile spam, while the boss health bar slowly depletes. In my own playthrough, I found that even if you make a lot of mistakes, these are pretty straightforward, and their loot is essential for giving classes powerful boosts to their weapons. In this update, we have 7 new ones, such as the Cosmic Broadsword, the Dramatic Irony, the Elysium, the Quartz Obliterator, the Phantom Staff, the Shield Machine, the Spear of Escape, Frag Grenades, and the Zodiac Sign. And more importantly, these 2 accessories, which will pretty much be essential for the next set of bosses, and we'll talk about these a little later. The World's End Everlasting Falling Whale is a large leviathan that fires various water-based projectiles. To spawn the boss will require you to take your hallowed altar to the ocean biome, and by using a slime statue and a timer like so, will satisfy the criteria, allowing you to right-click on the altar and summon the boss. He cycles between cyclones, whirlpools, as well as dashing at the player. First things first, you'll notice that the whale will one-shot any player. It took me a while to figure it out, even trying some wacky dodge or prevention builds, but the answer? Well, this accessory, the Whale Bone Charm. This allows damage taken to be capped at 40% of your max life, making this boss a lot easier to manage. Even though he is fast, you can pretty much just do a triangular circling motion around the boss, and his dash attacks won't even be able to catch you. And as for his projectiles, they're quite slow moving. Whereas this boss is quite fast, the next boss will require some precision instead. The Scarab Belief will lock onto the player's position, with projectiles being fired from the runes. Summoning this boss is quite simple compared to the last one, which will require you to build a literal cross. More on that later. Anyways, to summon this boss will require you to place 3 echo blocks and place the hallowed altar on top. Now, compared to the whale, this boss is significantly more difficult, and the Cold Blood accessory is basically mandatory to reduce the effectiveness of the boss's debuffs. Even with debuff protection, these attacks hurt a lot. This consists of telegraph lasers, Moonlord beams, projectile spam, and this cool circular move that will require you to maneuver out of. I also found that fighting this boss at night made the projectiles and boss more visible, so that's something to keep in mind. Overall, quite an enjoyable boss. And now, the Sun. To spawn the current final boss of the mod will require you to build a cross structure. Simply buy the blueprint from the Goblin Tinkerer while having the Ancient Builder booklet in your inventory. And as you can see, it gives you all the required materials and a hologram of the structure. It is also worth mentioning that you need to be in the Hallowed biome. Now, for the gameplay of this boss, it is super cool, with his first phase making the sun immune to damage while firing a barrage of lasers. After this phase, the boss will throw a wide variety of holy attacks at you. This can range from light rays, raining boulders, and a damaging border, with hands that will gradually shrink the longer the boss is alive. Whereas this does reset after the boss is at 50% HP, having high damaging weapons is pretty important. And as you can tell from the background footage, fighting the sun at nighttime and on a platform arena as opposed to on the ground will make the holy projectiles so much easier to see and dodge. And do you see that death animation? It's telling you to subscribe. Goodbye.